Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Fett. I'm here to recap the Red Sox-Orioles series today. As you can tell from my mood and my tone, it was not a pretty series as the Orioles were swept in a supposed to be 4-game series. They only played 3, but they still were swept. Game 4 was postponed. So without further ado, I got a lot to talk about and a lot to get into, so I'm going to jump into it. Game 1 of the Red Sox-Orioles series, we lost 3-7. I don't really have that much good news, but I sure have a ton of the bad and ugly news. First, let's give a shout out to the Red Sox as they are looking more and more dominant every series, every game. Erod against the Orioles hitters. He struck out 8. It's just too many strikeouts, guys. No bat support. The bad news, the bats were 9 for 34. You just can't win ball games when you're 9 for 34 and your starting pitcher gives up 4 earned runs in the first inning. I've been bashing Tillman already this season. 4 earned runs in the first inning. He only went 2 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned runs, no strikeouts. No strikeouts for a starting major league pitcher. Pretty sure a pitcher's main job is to strike people up when they come up, strike out people at the plate. We didn't get any of that from Chris Tillman. They jumped on us from the start. You're down 6 runs, and by the second inning, kind of deflates the whole clubhouse. You can't give up 6 runs in 3 innings. I'm at a loss for words with Chris Tillman. He is a shell of his former self, who he was our number one. 2014, he was our ace. It's getting to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where it's time to move either Tillman to the bullpen or it's time to just cut loose, let him go, and either Duquette and the management team need to go get somebody else, because this season, just from game 1, I've already got my head back in the sand. 3 strikeouts for Chris Davis, so he continues to earn his salary. I got nothing to say about Chris Davis nice either. Our hands were tied, like I said in previous podcasts. When we signed him, he got us in a contract year, put up great numbers, and ever since then, man, he has just been on the decline. There's not much to say either for, sitting him. You can't really sit him. He is 32 years old, so he's on the wrong side of 30, but we traded for him back in 2011 from Texas. And according to my stats here, it looks like he is set to earn $23 million for this year, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So I'm at a loss for words with Chris Davis. Signed him to that giant 7-year, $161 million deal, 2016 to 2022. I don't know what Duquette's thinking. You got to hit the panic mode right now with the team in shambles. I'm just talking about game 1. I haven't even got into game 2 or 3, but I'm in panic mode. We beat the Yankees. Woo! I'm thinking, turn's going to tide. We're going to maybe, catch a couple from the Blue Jays. Nope. Lost the Blue Jays, and then we get swept by the Red Sox. The only good thing I have for this game, really, is there's RBIs for Manny and Jones, and Trey Mancini batting leadoff continues to look good. 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Like I said, that's Trey Mancini's about the only bright spot since getting bumped into the leadoff spot. Let's continue with Game 2, where the Orioles put up a whopping 3 runs, and the Red Sox got 10 runs off us. After beating us 10-3. The Red Sox improved to a franchise best 12-2 start for the Red Sox. So we are intertwined with a part of history forever with the Boston Red Sox. This game, too, basically the ugliest thing I can put is our big free agent pitcher, Alex Cobb, who we just signed to a 4-year, $57 million deal. Yeah, he's about to make $14 million this year and next year, in 2020, in 2021. And he went 3.2 innings pitched, gave up 10 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned, 2 home runs with 0 strikeouts. Now, this isn't Chris Tillman pitching for the second day in a row. This is Alex Cobb. This is supposed to be the guy we signed to solidify our staff behind Gausman and Bundy. And what did he do? He got destroyed by the best team in baseball right now. And gave up 3 earned runs in the first inning. You can't win if your starting pitcher gives up more than 2 runs in the first inning. I mean, it's happened before. People do come back from being down a 2-3-0 deficit, but it makes it that much harder on the hitters. Oh, you would think I'd be used to this as an Orioles fan, but every season they rope me back in. I get pumped up, and as you guys can tell, just very upsetting from a fan standpoint. The bats were ice cold. The bat was 9 for 34. So back-to-back games, the Orioles go 9 for 34. They put 3 runs up, but they suffered big losses. Both games, 1 and 2. No run support. Bats ice cold. I mean, we knew Boston's one of the best teams going into Game 2, and still got destroyed. The only good I have is Trey Mancini again. 2 for 4 again, batting leadoff. So Trey's doing it right. I don't know what the rest of the team's doing. Cisco had an RBI. He looks good. He looks young. He makes a couple. He gets in front of the ball on past balls or a couple situations where he looked a little out of place. And I don't know if he's just not comfortable catching with these new pitchers. He has no rapport with them or what, but the pitchers are just getting bombarded. El Toro, Pedro Alvarez hit another home run in the DH slot. If I could rename this team, it would be the over 30s, because according to what I have in front of me, Manny, Tim, Cisco, I mean, they're about the youngest players we got, I should say. Scoop's 26, so. But if you go through the lineup and you listen to this, and Trey's under 20, you hear Pedro, 31, Adam Jones, 32, Chris Davis, 32, Valencia, 33, Caleb Joseph, 31, Andrew Cashner, 31, Tillman, 30, Cobb, 30, Brock is 32, Darren O'Day is 35, Richard Bleer is 31, Mark Trumbo's 32. So all those guys are on the wrong side of 30. It's time to rebuild. I'm getting upset doing this cast. Just very disappointing being a fan right now and having to suffer through this. Suffered through it as a kid in the 90s. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed being, 96, 97, when we had Albert Bell, Mussina, and some of those guys. And, the last years of Cal and Brady Anderson, yeah, those were great. But, since I've come to the, puberty stage from about 12 on, I mean, what have I really had seen? J.J. Hardy produce for 5 years and the Orioles stick in the tank? I mean, we are just – I know there's mismanagement in the past. I know we have had issues. I know we're not one of the big-name ball clubs. We don't have the – we don't bring the money in on merchandise and all this stuff, but what I do expect is to be competitive, and we're just not even competitive right now. So let's go ahead and, after my rant, let's go ahead and talk about Game 3 where they lost 3-1, and what they did is they increased Boston's franchise best 13-2 start by a game. The good is we scored first. We had the lead for the first time all series in the first inning and disappeared. Bundy, he wasn't bad. 5.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, 6 Ks. That is a decent stat line. 3 runs, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. He had more strikeouts than Cobb and Tillman combined, and he pitched as many innings as they did in both games combined. So, Dylan Bundy, man, I'm sorry. You're a great pitcher. I wish you had run support. I wish you had a team that supported you, because I think you're going to be great. All this showed us is the Red Sox are the best team in the AL East. I don't think there's a doubt about it that they are on the warpath, and they're looking to get themselves back into the World Series. They got a difficult challenge playing the Yankees in the division. Obviously, that's always a rivalry, and they usually are the top 2 teams in the AL East, but the Red Sox look like they're the real deal. It's way too early, though. I mean, I'm over here upset about the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season, but we know what's coming, Orioles fans, and that's a 100-loss season, I think. The batters were my ugly for this game. 3 for 30 at the plate with 14 strikeouts for the Birds. 3 of those were Chris Davis, who after the game, his batting average was a whopping .132. Chris Davis, 2 out of 3 games with at least 3 strikeouts. And I'll say it again, he got us. We're hosed. There's nobody that's going to take on his contract. There's no one that's going to want to pay him the money for what he's producing. He's stuck, Bird Nation. I mean, he is going to be stuck with us. So, in conclusion, we score 7 runs, and the Red Sox score 20 runs against us. Thank goodness Game 4 was postponed, so we didn't get beat 4 games in a row. Maybe that makeup game will play in our favor. Maybe we'll get a doubleheader and steal one from them this year, but it doesn't look like we're going to beat the Red Sox at all unless the injury bug bites. Just a disappointment overall. This Orioles team is fading fast. After all the hype I had after the Yankees taking 3 out of 4 from them, the wins have been taken out of my sails as a fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a diehard. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to cheer them on. I'm still going to pay attention, watch the games, listen. But I'm going to give you guys what I'm taking from the games. The harsh criticism, players not producing, players being overpaid. The only, the positive I have looking at the team chart is, we got Bundy. He's got arbitration the next 3 years after this season. Man, guys, I don't know. I'm looking at the payroll right now, and I'm seeing, Manny's gone, guys. Next year, he's making $16 million this year. Britton's making 12. Brock's making 5. 8.5 for Scoop. Gosman's making 5.5. Beckham's making 3.5. But the team's in shambles. Let's just get right to the point. At this point, I just want to see them promote some of the prospects and start playing them. That's where I'm at. Trade whoever they need to, except Manny, and start calling up some of these young guys. Because it looks like we're going to have a 100-loss season, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an Orioles fan and you listen to this and you're suffering with me, I guess the only positive, too, is, the draft's about a week and 2 days away. So the Ravens hopefully will give us something to cheer about come draft day. So in conclusion, that was my review of the 3-game series against the Red Sox. We're now playing the Detroit Tigers. I will send another cast out once we finish up that series and give you guys an update how that went. Hopefully we fare better against the worst team in the AL Central than we did against the best team in the AL East. So with that being said, this is the Fett. you guys keep cheering on those Birds. Let's go Birds.